Welcome to episode 2 of Hey, You May Want to Hear This. I'm Adam.
And I'm Anthony. All right, so today we're going to talk about a few things. Last week, we were kind of all over the map, talked about a bunch of different topics, did the kind of get to know you sort of deal, and it was a lot of fun. I learned at the end that I'm Padme if I'm a Skywalker, so that's news to me. Talked about just some favorite foods, some favorite music, just all sorts of fun stuff. So if you're listening to this podcast and want to go back and maybe hear our first episode, feel free to do so because that would be awesome. Mm-hmm. But for today, we're going to focus in a little more. We're still going to have a few different topics and some variety, but we're just going to focus in a little more on a few topics. And these will include some of our favorite funny Amazon reviews that we found. And that's, let me tell you, folks, this is something to look forward to at the end of this. Kind of the major chunk of this episode of Hey, You May Want to Hear This is going to be about a band that both Adam and I have come to know and love.
Oh, yeah.
Just a ton. Blink-182. We referenced them in the last podcast and even said that that today's podcast was already referenced, and so that was there for the reference. And so we're going to be talking a bit about Blink-182 in the middle chunk. But first, before we get rolling on that, before we started this episode, as we were just getting ready here a half hour ago or so, Adam and I were having a conversation and just talking about an experience that he had and kind of recalling back to high school a little bit. And so he's just going to share this little story that I think will be entertaining for y'all. So
yeah, so this is not my finest moment. So earlier today, me and my folks were having a conversation. I've just had like weird health issues from, I've had like cat scratch fever, had my socket pulled out of my elbow when I was little from being pushed on a swing set. I've had some pretty weird injuries, but I think this one takes the cake for my weird injuries.
Cool.
So it was senior year at Everett High School, and it was the annual senior versus staff basketball game. So just everything was on the line, and I was just so excited. Went to practice, was just draining threes. Haven't played basketball since 7th grade. But
yeah, I never got to play in one of those games.
It was, hey, let me tell you, it was intense,
Yeah.
So, so we were playing the practice. I wouldn't say I was the star, but, I was holding my own.
Yeah, you were something special, I'd say.
I mean, I had that glint in my eye. But anyways, so we were getting ready, and I'd kind of talked about how I wanted some tearaway sweatpants with the ones with the buttons up the legs.
Those were so sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said were.
They are.
Those are so sweet.
I mean, I don't necessarily think they're so sweet anymore, but anyways.
I don't know. That's your opinion.
Well, no, I mean, because of,
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah.
So anyways, I had voiced that opinion to my dad. And, last minute coming in the clutch, my dad comes bringing me these sweet blue and yellow tearaway sweatpants, the same color as our high schools.
Yeah.
And so, I'm just so fired up. I'm like, all right, I got these. Like, it's time to go. It's time to, I'm fired up. We're gonna get this W. We're gonna beat the staff. I'm gonna get carried off the court when I score 57 points. It's gonna be sweet.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, we're going through the introductions and, where they say your name and you come running out to the middle of the court. The whole school is paying attention, 1,000+ people watching you. It's a really exciting time. It's a big assembly, a full school assembly. So they go, and our next senior, Adam White. And, I'm just fired up, and I'm coming out and I've unsnapped all the snaps. The trick is to unsnap all the snaps except for like one or two. So they're still on you, but they're not like snapped all the way up, so they'll just come right off.
Yeah, you can't tear off the whole thing or just
it's you don't want any malfunctions.
Right.
Well, anyways, I still had a malfunction.
Should have given yourself that advice.
Yeah, so I unsnapped all of them except for two, the top two, and little did I realize that the top two, one of them was just a snap. But the last one, the one on the very top on the waistband, was actually like a shirt button or like jeans buttons.
Oh, I actually never heard that detail.
Yeah. So that's not coming, and I can't figure out why. And I'm like, come on, like, come off. And they just won't. And I'm like, all right, I just got to ditch this. So I do, like, for some reason, I think it's like a good idea to, try and do like a run jump to get out of them.
Well, absolutely it is.
Like, that's good idea. Said no one ever. Like, why is it a good idea to jump out of your pants? But anyways, so I jump, and as first of all, I didn't even come close. Like, I got him to like my knee before I started falling back down to the earth. That 4-inch vertical isn't doing much for me. So then I land, and what happened was, like, the top of my foot, like my toe went into the ground and then rolled under me, and the back of my heel ended up actually touching like the bottom of my calf, and so I ended up spraining my ankle and like partially tearing some ligaments, and I had quite the swollen ankle.
Oh man.
And I mean, if you want to check it out, check out my Instagram. There's a big swollen ankle on there from a couple years ago.
Oh, really? I haven't even dug back that far to see it.
It's nasty.
I'm gonna do that right now.
It's not too nasty, but yeah. And unfortunately, I know I had your guys' hopes up, but it was a big goose egg for the number of points I scored. So,
how many points?
No, it was goose egg. It was 0.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, it was the basketball dreams, the hoop dreams came crashing down, and let's just say I wasn't getting the recruits that were there did not think much of me. So
scrolling through your Instagram, I just found the picture of when you shaved the top of your head and had kind of the monk hairstyle going.
I've had some interesting hairstyles, but yeah, so that would be the end of Adam White's illustrious basketball career.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh wait. Oh no, that's where it should be. I feel like I'm in our senior year, but oh well, I'll look for it later.
Yeah,
but anyways,
it's a treasure hunt for everyone.
Yeah, so. I just thought it'd be fun to pull up real quick, but yeah, go check it out for yourself if you want to see.
Oh man,
I've heard this story multiple times. It just still kind of makes me cringe when it comes to the injury, and it's still hilarious every time. It's all because of the tearaways.
Yeah, and I've actually never fully healed. Like, it still bothers me, and so hey, that's why, as cool as they are, I don't think I'll ever be putting on another pair of tearaway sweats again.
Well, yeah. It's a sacrifice.
That was the end of my tearaway sweats career as well.
Yeah. So. 2 careers in one day.
Yeah.
So wow.
It was a tough one. They're still in my closet mocking me.
So, all right. Well, so there's a little story from Adam, just a little history.
Yeah, a little more get to know you.
Get to know you. And so I am going to honestly just not segue because I have no idea how to, and just jump to the next thing.
Yeah.
Just be honest. And we're going to, as promised, spend a bit of time focusing and talking about Blink-182. You might be wondering why. It might seem kind of weird. But as far as like Adam and I's friendship and relationship goes, I'm not saying that Blink-182 is like the foundation that our entire relationship is built on.
But it's a very serious common interest.
It really is a pretty big part of it. And that just includes a lot of things that we thought would be kind of cool to talk about today. And so just to give a little bit of background first, I was just curious, Adam, like, just tell us a little bit about like Blink, I guess, kind of when you first started listening to them. Just kind of a little general overview of your like experience with the band.
Well, let's see. I probably would have been probably like 8 or 10 when I first started. Like, I mean, obviously you hear all the small things like on the radio and just some of their other bigger songs. And but yeah, when I first started listening to them, let's see, it probably would have been my brother and his friends listened to it a lot, and I just kind of, as a product of that, heard a fair amount of it, and really started listening to them once I got into middle school and a little bit into high school. And then, like, by high school, I was, pretty into it, and ever since then, I've just really enjoyed their music, even through Tom leaving and everything. I still love their music, so, yeah.
Yeah, for me, the first song I ever remember knowing was, do you remember those Now That's What I Call Music albums?
Heck yeah, I do.
I can't remember what number it was, but I remember I Miss You being on one of those.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And that was the first song that I kind of really got into. And then, like you said, there are songs like All the Small Things. Adam's song was another huge song from that whole Enema of the State era that I realized I knew more songs by this band. I just didn't know who this band was yet. Mm-hmm. And so this was probably like 6th or 7th grade when I was really starting to get into it. And then my friend John was also just super into Blink-182, and we were in a punk rock band together. And so Blink-182 just kind of ended up becoming just a huge influence and a few part of that relationship. And then with you and I also, and then with you, me, and John, even as a little trifecta, just listening to Blink, rocking out, hanging out.
On the way to your wedding. We were rocking out hardcore to some
Yeah, we did. I got pumped to get married.
Oh, yeah. That was some good old pump-up music.
So, how about a few more specifics? When I think about the band, I mean, there's so many good songs and so many good albums. Going all the way back, there's the very earliest stuff like Fly Swatter into like Buddha and all that. Rough stuff. And, once things get really kicking off, I'd have to say that the Enema of the State album is probably my favorite overall album. But my favorite song by the band ever doesn't come from that album. It actually came from their self-titled album in 2003, and that's the song Feeling This.
Oh, yeah.
That song is just so cool, the way it really plays off both Mark and Tom's voices, and they have this whole harmony and multiple layers of vocals throughout the whole like final chorus towards the end, and the song just builds and has such cool dynamics. And so that's a song that I just fell in love with the first time I heard it, and I still listen to this day.
Oh yeah,
frequently,
for sure,
all the time, more so than most of their other songs, except for, I mean, right now I'm probably listening to their newest album the most just because it's new.
Yeah, definitely.
But so Feeling This, easily my favorite song. And where would you land in the camp of favorite Blink-182 song?
Let's see. It's kind of a toss-up for me. I kind of like some of the older, rougher, like angst, like teen angst. Bleached, frosted tips. All that.
Is it the video for Josie when Tom's hair is just bleach
that's
blonde.
Rough.
And Mark's hair is purple.
I mean, hey, I'll be honest. I had the frosted tips too when I was at.
Did you really?
Oh man, it would have been probably 2001. I just bleached the top of my hair. I was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
You were so
not
cool at all.
Yeah. So, and my brother. So what had actually happened was my brother bleached his hair, and there was just enough left over where I could bleach the top of my hair. So, but anyway, so kind of from that time, like it's probably two songs for me. The first coming from that era, which would be Eminem's. I just kind of like that rough, but like, I don't know. There's just something I really like about kind of the older sounding, like not so polished. I mean, not that they've ever been the most polished band.
Right.
But
I love that song. Eminem's is so awesome.
And I mean, just ridiculous lyrics like they're known to do every once in a while. And
right.
So, and then kind of a little more recent, but not obviously that much more recent, like kind of, or would it be like mid 2000s probably when Not Now came out?
Not Now was, if I'm not mistaken, the last original song they released before they broke up in 2005.
Okay. So yeah, definitely Not Now would be another one of my favorite songs. I like the harmonies in that song, and I don't know, it's just a cool song. I love Tom with his serious California accent in that one, like the elongating of words and just ridiculous.
Yeah, that definitely does come out, and
you know,
it's a really cool song though. Touches a little bit more on their serious lyric writing too.
Oh yeah,
starts
definitely.
to show a little more their maturity compared to some of their earlier stuff.
For sure.
I love the immature early stuff too. Hey. It's a balance. They're both great.
I mean, it's you get the fun, but then you also get the seriousness too. So it's always good.
Right. And so we got to go see him in concert not that long ago. Adam and I. My wife Lauren and our friend Jacob was with us also, but we got to go see Blink-182. They were playing with the All American Rejects, which was fine, I guess.
It's like, I mean, it's just one of those bands from like your childhood that's like one of those, that's fine, I guess. Like nothing you'd ever, I mean, not to hate on them. I mean, if you like All American Rejects, that's great. I mean, it's just not necessarily either of our favorites.
Yeah, they're not my favorite, but something I've really been learning, like I'm doing a lot of production and recording right now, kind of different projects, and I've just been growing a huge appreciation for music, whether it's music I enjoy or not.
Yeah,
even if it's a song I hear when I enjoy, or I hear that I don't enjoy very much. I've just realized like it took just as much effort to make that as it did to make, and so it's really grown an appreciation for me, even if it's not my cup of tea necessarily.
Oh yeah, and I mean, as far as pop goes, it's definitely, you could definitely get a lot worse than All American Rejects.
Yes. And then in between All American Rejects and Blink-182 as the headliner, and then the second band, being the heaviest of the three, was A Day to Remember.
Yep.
Which is one of my absolute favorite bands. Like, they would be a strong contender for my second favorite band after Blink.
Oh, for sure.
I love them. And then Blink came on, and I think one of my favorite things about the show was they played
F word.
There was that on one of their graphics for the whole first song. Yes, was that. But no, it was the fact that they played, even though they had just come out with the new album and they had Matt Skiba with them as part of the new lineup.
Yeah.
And no Tom DeLonge, they still played quite a bit of the older songs, and not just the popular ones like All the Small Things and Adam's Song.
And I would say what I appreciate is Matt Skiba didn't try to like do anything Tom wise. Like, he just, did what Matt Skiba does, sing his way, but like it still worked well.
Yeah, sang the lyrics Tom used to sing, but he didn't try to like.
Yeah, he didn't try to do the crazy Tom
accents
voice.
Yeah. He just kind of did it, kept it simple. He didn't make a big deal about it, and it was really enjoyable.
Definitely,
as performers, the whole band was just great.
Yeah, no, they did a great job, and their energy was high, and I mean, it's got to be tough to muster that energy if you've been doing it for so long, but I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell that they've been doing it for 20 plus years. They're just still a fun band to go and watch, and they have high energy.
I feel like it would be hard to muster the energy at the start, but that type of music is so high energy that I feel like once they get going, it just kind of feeds itself, and they're just in it. Yeah, and then Travis Barker as a drummer is just always just a thrill to see live. He just
thrashes.
It's crazy. So much fun.
Yeah, it was a really good concert. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was a super great time. But like we said, I mean, they did play a good amount of the older stuff, a little more than I expected.
Yeah, definitely, for
and
sure.
I was really pleased with that. But they did play a fair amount of stuff from their newest album too.
I would say pretty much all of it. Like, other than maybe a couple songs, but
yeah, maybe like half of it. Yeah, I don't know, but a good amount. And I really enjoyed it, and it was nice to see because those songs were so organic since they were written with Matt Skiba.
Yeah,
in the first place, anyways.
Yeah.
So speaking of the new album, I guess so California, right? It came out in July. Something I read about that album was that it came out on the 183rd day of the year, only because 2016 was a leap year.
Interesting.
And they didn't even do that intentionally, but it was just kind of funny because any other year,
It would be
the release date would have been the 182nd day for Blink 182.
Did they mean to do like the 182nd year?
No,
I mean 182nd day.
I don't think so.
So it just happened.
It was just this weird coincidence. They were trying to release it in July, and then this thing happened.
That's kind of a bummer that it was a leap year. That would have been sweet if it would have been the 182nd.
Yeah, but it's also kind of funny that it's 183rd.
Yeah,
Blink
183. So,
but anyways, so what did you think about that whole album, California?
It had a different feel, but I mean, it almost kind of felt like a little bit more like some of their older stuff. I don't know. It was definitely different, but I mean, at first it took a little getting used to, but I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought they did a good job. It's one of those albums that like maybe the first or second time through, it was kind of like, I don't know, like I'm not really, not to, make a pun, but I'm not really feeling this. But yeah, I mean, now it's definitely like, a great album. It is to me what all the other albums are, a great album that I love to listen to. So yeah.
Yeah, I've never disliked an album by Blink-182. Neighborhoods would be my least favorite album.
But that doesn't mean you don't like it.
I know it was good. I just didn't love it. I liked it. California, sure. I loved.
Yeah, they nailed it.
There were a few songs that had to grow on me, but the tone of the album was like, no, it wasn't exactly like their old stuff.
No, it was definitely different.
But it shouldn't have been either. I think they hit the nail on the head with the natural progression of where that punk rock music was supposed to go.
It's still Blink-182, and exactly. I think they wanted to communicate that, but I think they wanted to communicate that it's a different band. They're older. They're more mature.
More mature.
Yeah.
Not mature, but more mature than they were.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can take that for what it is, but, they're definitely older. They have kids and like kids that are, in like the double digits now. So
yeah. Well, and actually there's a song about midway through the album called Home is Such a Lonely Place. And that's about their kids, like not really, like really wanting to see them grow up and finish and move on and be successful in life, but loving their kids so much that they want them to stay around and keep being parents. And it's kind of a nice, more sentimental, mature touch that reflects where they're at compared to a lot of past music they've had.
Yeah.
But then there were still a few other quirky songs on there that were pretty funny.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So I guess what would be your favorite song on that whole album then, and maybe your least favorite too?
I mean, not to bash it at all. Like I don't think we mean to bash it at all by saying our least favorite. Just kind of yeah. So I guess I'll start with my least favorite. Probably Los Angeles. It's I don't know. It's different, and not that different's bad, but it's just not really my style. Like I don't really.
It's the most experimental song on the album, I'd say, and
I think it's great. I think they should keep experimenting, and it by no means it totally belongs on the album. There's no reason they shouldn't have it on the album, but it's just it's different, and so wasn't crazy about Los Angeles, but still a fine song.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. A lot of great songs. Right now, for me, I would say probably Rabbit Hole. I just really like Rabbit Hole. It's fast paced. It's just kind of a cool song. It was I think it was the second song that they released as like a single before they released the whole album. Yeah,
it was one of the Bored to Death, Rabbit Hole, and Left Alone were the singles they released.
Yeah.
I don't remember Left Alone and Rabbit Hole. I can't remember which one was second and third. But
I think Rabbit Hole was second. Yeah. So... at first I was kind of like, it's weird with that album. There was a couple songs that took a while, but then like once I listened to it a few times, I just really, really enjoyed it. So yeah,
cool.
Rabbit Hole for sure.
Yeah.
What about you?
That's sweet. My least favorite song, is Kings of the Weekend. And I'm not really sure why, cause it's not a bad song. And if I'm listening to the album start to finish, I don't skip it.
Yeah,
I enjoy the album like as an album, not just as a bunch of songs put in like one folder.
Yeah,
but I enjoy it as a start to finish album quite a bit. And so I honestly can't describe what it is, but I remember even at the concert when they played that song, the energy was kind of off.
I do remember that. That was kind of weird.
And I love concerts and live, so I think that might even contribute to why it's my least favorite.
That was a weird thing. Like it felt like all of a sudden the air got sucked out of the building. That song, and I like for no particular like. It's not like any less exciting than like say a lot of other songs, but
and then the next song they played, it was like energy was back, things felt great. And
it wasn't one of those things that stuck around. It was just that one moment,
and it wasn't like it was the least known song. There were other songs from the new album that people would have known the same degree. So I really can't explain it, but there's something about that song that it fits the album start to finish. But if I was just gonna listen to a few of my favorite Blink songs, it definitely wouldn't be one that I would seek out. My favorite song on the album is kind of a two-way tie. Cynical is awesome. It's so punk. Oh, yeah. It's the most punk song they've had in a while, and I just love that. On the intro, that starts kind of calm, and then it starts to pick up, and then there's a little pause, and you hear Travis go, ah, on the intro.
Oh, yeah.
And that's because in the studio, he kept messing it up, and on one of the mess-ups, they kept, like... He made that noise just out of like frustration, and so they kept it. And then even live, he leaned over into his mic in that spot and went, ah, just to like hearken to the album. And I just thought that was super funny and super cool. And
that is cool.
Then the whole song is just upbeat and punk and a ton of fun.
That is a good one.
Then also San Diego is my other favorite song. Because San Diego is about... Mark and Tom's relationship and kind of the early years, and not bashing on Tom for things now, but just kind of saying like it's hard for him to think about that because like he misses it, he loves it. Speaking of Mark, as Mark sings the song, and the song's just great and it's heartfelt. And then something I really loved was they used it as the theme song for the MLB All-Star game this past season. Because it was in San Diego, so all the commercials,
that's awesome.
All the commercials would just play the chorus, the take me back to San Diego.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
What if I go back to San Diego is the word.
That's weird. I mean, I watched the All-Star game, but I didn't watch it that closely. But that's cool. I didn't know that.
It's all the commercials and like the intro, outro song for the game. Yeah, they use that song. And so that just got me super pumped about it because I love baseball. It's my favorite professional sport to watch and be involved in. And
definitely.
Yep. Big Mariners fan. Don't know if that's ever going to work out for me, but I'm hoping.
Hey, same here, brother. Same here.
One day. So, but all in all, California was great. This tour that reflected the new album was great. They're still a great band, and I'm really excited to see if they're going to put out another album and kind of where it goes.
Yeah. No, I definitely enjoyed it too. So,
yeah. So anyways, like we said, Blink-182, just a big part of our relationship. We're really into their music, so we just wanted to share some of our thoughts on where they're at and thought it would be something fun to talk about.
Yeah, and I think it's always good, like we're still new to this, so just giving you guys kind of an idea of still kind of who we are and stuff, so yeah.
Yeah, so to kind of close out this episode, we found a few of our favorite, most funny Amazon reviews that we could track down. And let me tell you, it was a hoot just getting to look these up.
A hoot and a holler.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, I think part of the reason we saved this to the end was we weren't sure if we'd be able to make it through this without laughing and being able to recover after that. So
yeah, we figured the last review just felt like it needed to be the last thing of this podcast.
So I think we're gonna have Anthony start out with his. I mean, they're all our favorites. It's not so much that, and either of these are like one of our specific favorites. We just love them all. So there's so many more. Like I for sure recommend looking this up. I mean, we might do more on this podcast because they're just so funny. So.
Yeah, they're so funny. And let me just tell you real quick as I pull my phone up to read these reviews. While Adam was giving one of his responses in terms of Blink-182, I did find the picture of his swollen ankle. And it's disgusting, dude. Your toes are black.
I had a fat roll. Oh, well, no, that might just be because of the shadows.
I hope so, because that does not look good at all. How black all your toes are in this picture.
No, it was funny because I had a fat roll because like on my ankle, like I was getting made fun of because like literally like at the front of my ankle there would just be a little roll because of how swollen it was.
Oh, that's so funny.
So yeah. So I think the way we're going to do it is Anthony has two shorter ones that he really likes, and then I'm going to share the last one with the third one. So go for it.
All right. What do you think first, Adam? Baby, the one about the book, the baby book, or the one about the not baby book? They're both about books, actually. I just realized both my reviews are about books.
I would just go for the baby book one.
All right, the baby book. So this is a review of a book called Where is Baby's Belly Button?
Thrilling.
And this is killer. So I'm just going to read this review that someone wrote.
This is a quite the literary expert who is not too fond of this literary masterpiece.
Right. So the book got a 1-star review, and the title of the review is "Do Not Buy This Book." You can see the ending right on the cover.
and the cover is the baby pulling up the shirt just to see like the midriff, and you can see the baby's belly button. So
the review says this book is completely misleading. The entire plot revolves around finding baby's belly button. The title makes this much clearer from the beginning. However, there's no mystery, there's no twist. Baby's belly button is right where it's supposed to be, on baby's stomach, right where it clearly shows you it is on the cover of the book. This plot is a complete mess as a result of its reliance on the mystery of where the belly button is. Everything falls apart the second you realize that the belly button was in plain sight all along. There's no conflict, there's no character development, and there's scarcely any plot. Whoever wrote this book must have a serious error in judgment, because you would have to be an infant to not immediately understand where baby's belly button is. This is one of the worst pieces of literature I have ever read.
Wow, that person is not pleased. I mean,
maybe you would have to be an infant because
it is an infant. It's a book meant for infants. So, yeah.
And then the other review I had is it's another book review, but a book that is written in a serious tone. Well, not that baby's belly button. I mean, that's a serious book, but it's for infants.
It's a fun book,
right?
But I don't know. I can't say that I've ever read Where's Baby's Belly Button, but
Correct.
I imagine what it would be like.
Maybe we should expand our literary
horizon.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, anyways, go for that second one.
So this second book is called How to Avoid Huge Ships, and the cover of the book shows a ship heading for a large rock, kind of a Titanic-like looking ship.
And and
then this is the review that someone wrote. It was only after this book arrived that I looked closely at the title and realized it said How to Avoid Huge Ships. A simple error that means I am still treading on massive examples of canine excrement.
Jeez. Yeah, so that's a slight misunderstanding.
Yeah, misread that one. All right, Adam, take it away.
Lastly, I'm sure most of you have probably heard about the for those of you who haven't, they're the Haribo gummy bears that are, totally normal. Like the normal ones are totally fine, but Haribo had come out with a sugar-free, and I think since they've pulled it.
I think they have pulled it. I don't think they exist.
But there
anymore.
was the sugar, like the replacement for the sugar that was like a sugar substitute or whatever. Something about it made it so like people couldn't digest it, and it was just like wreaking havoc on their digestive systems. So, so I'm gonna read. This is probably my favorite one. This one's actually quite long, so we only cut out a segment of it. And,
or else this episode would be an hour long.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's a 1-star review. And it says, "Just don't unless it's a gift for someone you hate." And it's a verified purchase, so like it says verified purchase, so this is real.
That's so funny. I didn't even look and see if that was an aspect on either of my two.
So it says, "Oh man, words cannot express what happened to me after eating these. The gummy bear cleanse. If you are someone that can tolerate the sugar substitute, enjoy. If you are like the dozens of people that have tried my order, run." First of all, for the taste, I would rate these a 5. So good. Soft, true to taste, fruit flavor. Like the sugar variety. I was a happy camper. But, or should I say but, where she spells it with 2 T's. Not long after eating about 20 of these, all hell broke loose. I had a gastrointestinal experience like nothing I've ever imagined. Cramps, sweating, bloating, beyond my worst nightmare. I've had food poisoning from some bad shellfish, and that was almost like a skip in the park compared to what was going on inside me. Then came the flatulence. Heaven to Murgatroyd.
What is Murgatroyd?
I don't know. The sounds like trumpets calling the demons back to hell. The stench like 1,000 rotten corpses vomiting. I couldn't stand to stay in one room for the fear of succumbing to my own odors. But wait, there's more. What came out of me felt like someone had tried to funnel Niagara Falls through a coffee straw. 100% liquid. Flammable liquid. Napalm. It was actually a bit humorous for a nanosecond, as it was just beyond anything I could imagine possible. And it went on for hours. I felt like I was violated when it was over. Which I think might have been sometime in the morning of the next day. There was stuff coming out of me that I had ate at my wedding in 2005.
When was this written?
2012. So 7 years later.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I don't recommend getting these sugar-free Haribo gummy bears, but if you do, please let us know if you do, because I'm very curious.
We would love to hear about it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's the third time I've heard that review, and it's not getting old. It's just it's so ridiculous.
Oh gosh, yeah. So please don't, but if you do, just please let us know. So
our advice as we sign off today is do not buy the Haribo sugar-free gummy bears.
And do not get tearaway sweatpants, because they're the spawn of Satan. So
yeah, but do look up some funny Amazon reviews and do listen to Blink-182.
And do come back for our next podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're signing off. See you later.
See ya.